You don't need a good fence to be a good neighbor. You just need to be involved in your community. Good neighbors can make a real difference, literally where people live. Being a good neighbor can also mean being a good influence on your neighbors, and that really can make all the difference. What difference can it make? We'll see why a Good Neighbor program is needed, how it can work, and what difference it can make on this special episode of Progressive Solutions. Welcome to the Good Neighbor program, building the Democratic Party from the ground up. Republicans have won the U.S. House of Representatives in 11 of the last 15 elections and won the U.S. Senate in 9 of those 15 elections. Even worse, the future holds no promise of this changing. Indeed, we are looking at more of the same. Despite continuing to find new extremes, despite the barrage of lies, despite many members not only supporting Trumpism and Trump himself, but also essentially supporting the January 6th attempted coup, the Republican Party currently controls the U.S. House of Representatives, 26 governorships, and 28 state legislatures. Republican-controlled legislatures represent a majority of Americans. Republicans could take control of the U.S. Senate and maybe even the White House in the 2024 election. What's worse, this isn't your grandfather's GOP or even your father's. This isn't the party of Nelson Rockefeller, Kay Bailey Hutchison, Dan Evans, or even John Boehner. No, today's GOP is the party of crooks and liars, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Paul Gosar, Lauren Boebert, Jim Jordan, Ron DeSantis, and Donald Trump. So how do we break through these extremes and these lies and get directly to the people? The problem with the old media like television, radio, and newspapers is that most of them nowadays are owned by right-wing corporations and tycoons. And as for social media, their algorithms only show people what they want to see and hear. Former House Speaker Tip O'Neill is famous for saying all politics is local, and that's still true, but we're going to go a step further and say all politics is personal. It's that very local, personal touch that will break through. The concept of working locally and personally brings us the Good Neighbor program. In brief, the Good Neighbor program involves leveraging the precinct captain system to build an army of neighborhood leaders recruited for their desire to get involved politically and their ability to connect personally with neighbors, schooled in the workings of local and state government, and trained to solve local problems. Okay, that's a lot, so let's break it out and take it one step at a time. The Good Neighbor program builds on the precinct captain system. Most states already have a system in place, so we're not reinventing the wheel. In addition, precinct captains are supposed to get out the vote. This program just makes them far more effective. Finally, with access to the Democratic Party database, the information good neighbors get can be used to help candidates be more effective and also allow replacement good neighbors to start from a higher level. Using the precinct captain system in this way gives us the framework we need to build a lasting Democratic majority. At its core, the Good Neighbor program has 3 easy steps. Step 1. Get to know your neighbors. Get to know their dogs, get to know their kids, get to know their interests, get to know their hobbies. Be neighborly. The better you know your neighbors, the more they're going to trust you. Step 2. Be the conduit to local politics. Learn how your city or town council operates and who the players are, including appointed as well as elected officials. Attend public meetings and get a feel for how public input is done, including how best to lobby local electeds. Don't forget the school board, city planning commission, and any other special purpose boards and commissions. Remember that information flows both ways. Let your neighbors know what their local government is doing and help them be as effective as possible when they want to speak out. Step 3. Solve problems, such as getting potholes filled in. Every neighborhood has problems crop up, both large and small, and everyone wants someone to fix them. If you know how your local government works, you're in a great position to be that someone. What's more, you can get a reputation for being the go-to person to make your neighborhood better. Another key to success for the Good Neighbor program is communications. People can't operate in isolation. Good communications will help people learn better techniques as they compare notes. It'll help connect people on their issues. I'll get to that in a little bit. And finally, it'll help people organize at election time. One type of communication system is horizontal, where people talk with other people on their level. For example, precinct captains within a city or within an area. They can compare notes and learn better techniques, but also, if several precinct captains have people in their neighborhoods, all of whom want to speak out on a particular issue, those captains can get the people together so they can magnify their voice and be more effective. In addition, county chairs or their appointed organizers can work with each other to compare notes, share ideas, share people if need be. Finally, people in similar settings but in widely separate areas should be connected with each other as well. For example, precinct captains in 2 different cities or in 2 different widely spaced rural areas. These people have the same problems and they can compare notes to arrive at the best possible solutions. Then there's vertical communications. Obviously, precinct captains should be reporting to their county leaders, but that communication should go both ways. County leaders should be disseminating information to the precinct captains. Similarly, county leaders should be sending information up to the state party, and the state party should be sending information down. This will become extremely helpful when it gets close to election time. So what will be the result of this Good Neighbor program? Well, by connecting directly with voters and solving local problems, for starters, we raise the Democratic Party brand. Right now, there are a lot of issues that poll very well until you put a D after them, and then suddenly the poll numbers tank. By raising the Democratic Party brand, more people will support Democratic Party issues. We change hearts and minds. People start to feel better about voting Democratic. Then we maximize get-out-the-vote operations, bringing people to the polls who either wouldn't vote or wouldn't vote for Democrats. And the result is we win more elections. So what difference does all this good neighboring make? Well, if we can put together an army of 200,000 good neighbors across the country, each one bringing in an average of 25 additional Democratic votes, and those numbers are not difficult to attain, that means an additional 5 million votes for Democrats. What do those 5 million votes mean? Well, in 2014, it means we keep the Senate, and Barack Obama gets to appoint a Supreme Court justice to replace Antonin Scalia. Roe v. Wade would probably still be law of the land. 5 million more votes in 2016, Hillary Clinton becomes president instead of you-know-who. 5 million more votes in 2022, we keep the House, and it only takes 1 ballot to elect a new speaker. We need to take our country back, and with this program we can recruit and train an army of good neighbors who will do exactly that and let us move our country forward together again. If you want to get involved, maybe get your county or state Democratic Party to start a Good Neighbor program, contact me at the link in the description. Meanwhile, thanks for watching. Stay progressive.